How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. Today, we want to talk about a fundamental problem that is going on right now in the Yankee organization, as we've seen other really successful teams, the Rays, the Braves, the Orioles, the Blue Jays, they've all committed to a lot of their youth and given them opportunities when there was a last resort. Like, you have the opportunity to call up a youngster to see how they can perform. We did it last year with Oswaldo Cabrera, and he performed admirably. He was great. He was a spark plug. He gave us energy during the second half of the season when we really hit a cold streak there. But this year is kind of felt different. We haven't really given the same love to our prospects. We continue to call up guys like Franchy Cordero, who's just a career bad MLB player. I mean, Billy McKinney is also another career bad MLB player. Had a good start, kind of crashing back down to earth, hasn't really gotten a hit in a couple of games. And, this is a scenario where the Yankees are staring themselves in the face saying, like, what's wrong? How do we fix it? Well, we have some thoughts, we have some ideas and things that the Yankees might consider doing to improve their current production, to improve the current amount of energy that they're displaying. Guys, Jameson Taillon blanked us over 8 innings yesterday. He had an ERA over 7. Like, that is unacceptable. Like, objectively, we can't be this bad. You saw Kyle Higashioka say it after the game. You can't win if you don't score any runs. It's impossible to win games. Carlos Rodon goes out there on his debut. He shoves. Our bullpen looks good. If you let up 3 runs, you should win those games. The majority of games that you give up only 3 runs, you should win those baseball games. The Yankees are not winning those freaking baseball games, Ryan. I know you're frustrated, but what kind of take do you have on the current state of the team not giving some of these youngsters opportunities? And why do you think they should? Because, you watch other good teams do it, and it seems to pan out for them.
Yeah, so, I had to take a deep breath, really before I even hopped in the studio because, I think this is one of those seasons. This is one of those frustrating moments, during the course of a season where the Yankees can make a change and they don't. Last year, as you mentioned, they called up Cabrera. People forget, the Yankees called up Cabrera and Florial in mid-August of last year for a team that was in first place. That team was in first place. They started scuffling and they made the change. Dude, what does Franchy Cordero do? What does Franchy Cordero bring into the table, right? He can't play defense. He's not a defensive player at all. He cannot play the outfield at an admirable clip. He's a career terrible defender. Cannot provide you any value at first base. Doesn't hit enough to be a DH. Why is he here? He can't even hit left-handed pitching. Why is he here? Josh Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu. Do I need another month of Josh Donaldson? Do I need to know what he is? I don't care what Josh Donaldson is. I don't care if he goes to the Washington Nationals and plays well. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Aaron Hicks was the Orioles' best hitter for 3 weeks, and I don't think anyone really cared. Yeah, it sucked. It was you couldn't have done that here, but it's not like the Yankees were oh my God, Hicks is gone. This is the worst day of my life. Dude, the Yankees, and I want to pardon my language here, but the Yankees need to grow the fuck up a little bit. They need to act like an organization that cares. It's a slap in the face to be a team that's out of the postseason right now. You're in 4th place in your own division. You have the 4th best odds to make the playoffs in your own division. The Orioles don't spend a lot. The Rays don't spend a lot. The Blue Jays were not supposed to be better than you this year. And they are. You know what I mean? All 3 of these teams have better talent than the Yankees. All 3 of these teams are better rosters than the Yankees. All 3 of these teams, dude, are the Yankees going to finish ahead of the Red Sox in the standings this year? You can't even guarantee that. Right. It's embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is as bad as it gets. Everson Pereira, I get it. Look, people, are oh, well, how much has he played in AAA? Well, my retort to that is, number one, the balls in AAA are juice. Do you really know if, what are you going to learn at that level, right? I feel like AA is, you've got enough success there. You've hit at a really high clip. And quite frankly, if he's bad for a month, you just send him down and trade for his replacement, right? This isn't a foreign concept here. We're not talking about something that's never happened before. A player getting sent down and coming back up and playing a little bit better, right? What am I learning with Franchy Cordero, right? We're trying to, as an organization, you're trying to learn things. You're trying to understand more about your personnel, about your clubhouse, about the players you have on the roster, a bunch of different things. And do you mean to tell me that we're learning anything with Franchy Cordero out there? Are we learning anything with Josh Donaldson out there? I presented this question in a space I did yesterday. How many guys on the active roster, so Judge is not on the active roster, so he doesn't count, on the position player side of the ball that you would like to have in 3 years? For the next 3 years, not that they're under contract to be here, but you want them actively to be a big part of this team. Stanton has been a 70 WRC plus hitter since July 21st. I think he's off the list of guys I want on this team in 3 years. Can't handle velocity. I'm very concerned. LeMahieu, I do not want him on this team in 3 years. Unfortunately, he's under contract for the next 3 years. Donaldson, not good. Torres, I don't know what he is. Like, I feel like I think he's replaceable. Like, I think he's solid, but is he like, oh, you absolutely need to have this guy? Bader is one of those guys, I think, but the injury concerns makes that cloudy. It really just feels like it's Anthony Volpe. Let's look at the Blue Jays. They have Bichette. They have Vlad. They have Matt Chapman. They have Kirk. They have Jansen. They have George Springer. Those are guys you want in your team for the foreseeable future. I know Varso's struggling, but I imagine that they think he can turn it around. If you're the Orioles, Henderson, you have Rutschman, Westberg, Kowser, Bradish. You have plenty of guys across that diamond that you're like, yeah, I want Mullins. You want these guys in your team over the next 3 years. The Rays, Luke Raley, Wander Franco, Randy Rosarena, Yandy Diaz, Isaac Paredes, right? These are guys you want on your teams over the next 3 years. The Yankees have one guy on the position player side of the ball that you want on your team in 3 years, right? I need this team to figure it out. I need an identity here. If you're going to be old, slow, and boring, no one's going to want to watch this team. I don't care to learn about this team. This team isn't getting anywhere. You don't learn anything from Josh Donaldson over the next month. Make the change, right? Why you can't get shut out by Jameson Taillon, who had a 6 ERA. Jameson Taillon, love the guy. Freaking terrible. He's terrible. You can't have those 13 position players that participated in that game still all be here tomorrow. Josh Donaldson's not losing his job. He feels he has job security. How does he have job security? There's a $290 million payroll. We don't have a left fielder. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. I said this yesterday. I don't know what to say. What else is there to say? It's maddening. It's maddening. I don't get it. Be a young team or be an old team that's capable of winning a lot of games. You got to pick one. It can't be old, bad, slow, boring, and all those things.
Yeah. I mean, look, the truth is, you kind of said it. You have to make a decision. You have to have an identity. Is your identity going to be an old, aging team with exasperating amount of money spent on guys who are not producing? Donaldson, Stanton, DJ, the list goes on. Or are you going to start committing to your youth? Like Franchi Cordero, I would rather even see Estevan Florial over Franchi Cordero. I'd much rather see Everson Pereira. He's only has 3 games in AAA. But the truth is Oswaldo Cabrera essentially skips this. Anthony Volpe. Like, why was Anthony Volpe getting promoted such a big deal? You know what I mean? Like, why was it such a big deal? Like, God forbid you promote your star young prospects and have them feature at the MLB level. Why did our manager have to convince the freaking front office to promote Volpe? Why was it such like a game-changing thing? Like, the alternative was IKF for freak's sake. You know what I mean? The alternative is below average guys. What the hell was the point of not giving a young guy an opportunity? Why don't you give us for an opportunity to elevate his game in left field over Billy McKinney or guys that are not going to be here long term? Like, what if Florial ends like worst case scenario? Florial kicks ass and you flip him at the deadline for more than he's worth. You know what I mean? If he struggles, all right, he is what we know he's going to be. He's not that good at that MLB level. But if he does end up playing well, maybe he has a little bit more value and you flip into a team in need of an outfielder. The problem is the Yankees don't do themselves any favors when it comes to boosting value of anybody, right? Oswald Peraza, they've destroyed this kid's value, destroyed it. You know what I mean? Like, he has value because of his service time, but if he was to come up, produce elite level defense on the hot corner, have an okay offensive season, a team was going to buy on that. A team will buy on a 22, 23-year-old with that type of upside, elite gold glove upside. Instead, we're watching Josh Donaldson trip over himself at third base, strike out aimlessly, and get booed off of the plate every single at bat. You know what I mean? That's the problem, is that our fans, and even the ones that are really very positive on social media, are questioning what's going on in this organization right now. You look at what they're doing, everybody's questioning it except for them. Everyone's usually if you have an entire fan base questioning what is going on and everyone's pointing out, even the analysts, the people hired by the Yankees to talk about the Yankees are questioning their methods, it's usually a sign that they're in the shitter, that they need help. They need to change something. Whatever strategy they have implemented is not the right one. And I think that's kind of what stood out to me. Usually it's like 50-50. Like last year when they were struggling, like 50% of the fan base says, oh, no, we're fine. Just give us some time. Every single person right now does not believe in this team. There is maybe a sliver, 0.5% of people that think this team can turn things around. Everybody else is on the same page. That's when you realize that things are not going well. Like if you're a fan of any other New York team, like whether it be the Knicks or the Giants or the Jets, times you recall the whole fan base saying, wow, we freaking blow. Like we suck. Like there's no way out of this unless we change head coach and we change manager or change GM. And then they did it and things turned around. How many times has that happened and you've been a fan of another team? The Yankees are the exception because usually we don't see the Yankees struggle like this. Usually, as you mentioned, a $290 million payroll doesn't leave you without a fucking left fielder. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where we're sitting right now, is like we are spending more money than 95% of the teams in Major League Baseball, and we don't even have starters at multiple positions. You know what I mean? We're rolling with the 37-year-old Josh Donaldson, hoping that he can turn back the clock. And we're doing it to save face, save money. You know what I mean? The outfield, Harrison Bader, love the guy. He plays maybe 50% of games every season. You know, when he's healthy, you love the spark he brings, but it's a huge liability there. Aaron Judge, great. You have to extend him. If you don't extend Aaron Judge this past offseason, this team is a fucking joke. This team is a joke. It's a freaking joke. Without him, this team is a shell. It's a freaking porpoise with no water. You know, you look at left field, you have, what do you have, a rotation of guys? The Aaron Hicks, Oswaldo Cabrera position battle flopped hard. We're not paid to go and evaluate these guys and determine if they're going to be good MLB players. You know what I mean? Like, that's their job, and they continue to fail. Rizzo, solid player. Matt Olson's better. Freddie Freeman's better. Like, maybe they should have gone a different direction there. I mean, I still love Rizzo. I think he's a fine player. Gleyber Torres, as you said, one of our more consistent guys, and he's inconsistent. And that's the thing. When Gleyber Torres is arguably your best offensive piece, you're in fucking trouble, because he is a career inconsistent player. Every year, we don't know what version we're getting. Every day, you don't know what version of Gleyber Torres you're going to get. And when he's one of your best players right now, that's an indication that your team is inconsistent. You do not have the level of talent to supplement efficiency. Stanton, he's been bad for over a year now, guys. Like, I think he can turn it around. I hope to God he can. Know to believe, but he's been bad for an entire year. Donaldson's been bad for an entire year. These guys are not turning it around. They're getting worse. And DJ LeMahieu, I don't know what the hell happened to him. I have no idea what caused DJ LeMahieu to fall off this hard. Whether it's his foot, I don't know. But Ryan, I don't know. I don't think, look, when it comes to the toe injury, it could be impacting him still. But the truth is, I don't think the toe injury would cause him to be striking out as much as he is now. I think more so it would just be causing less, weaker contact. Like, he would make contact, it just wouldn't be hard. It just wouldn't get to the outfield. It wouldn't hit home runs. He's hitting a couple of good homers. I think he has 7 or 8 homers this season. He's on pace to break his record from last year. You know what I mean? Like, the power's there. Like, why is he striking out? Is this a mental thing? I don't know. You know, Ryan, when you're looking at this team right now, we definitely let out some energy in this, but it just confuses me as to why we're making the decisions we are and what we can do to turn things around. And ultimately, I'm scared of buying at the deadline. Like, I'm really scared of going out and acquiring players in hopes of rebooting our World Series aspirations, because the truth is that I don't think that we're ready for that. Like, I think that if we buy, we're going to further just dampen ourselves for the future. We may need to sell on some of these pieces, retool, and go into next year with some guys. Like, we have no choice but to pay Stanton. We have no choice but to pay Donaldson. But maybe you retool with some young guys and kind of like utilize next season to like actually build a future successful roster, instead of trying to like plug holes with money all the time and just like waywire moves. And I just don't know, like, what we can do here. Do you think we're better off being sellers? Do you think this team still has, the potential to win a World Series at the deadline if they can make a couple of moves, which is going to be expensive? We're going to have to tear apart our farm system just to get guys that are World Series caliber players.
Yeah, so, as long as they're close to a playoff spot, I'm going to advocate for buying. But here's what I will say. Alex, I think last year we kind of got the indication of like, dude, what the hell is this team doing with some of these young players? Oswald Peraza was called up to not play shortstop every day for a month last year. IKF played over Oswald Peraza for a month last year. Oswald Peraza was a part-time player for the New York Yankees last year when he got called up. He didn't even play shortstop full-time. I like, that's something that like that can never happen. That can never happen to an organization that prides itself in good decision-making. Alex, I sat here all off season talking about, okay, well, the process, this process sucks, the process sucks, and the thing is, you see, like, calling up Cordero is like, well, it's the safe move, it's the move that doesn't get people fired, right? Because it's the safe move. It's the, oh, well, you don't want to call Pereira and ruin him or whatever. That's the safe move. I'm tired of that, dude. I'm tired of the, well, it's good enough to just make the playoffs. It's not. Like, I get it. If you make the playoffs, like, yes, making the playoffs every year is a good thing. I'm not saying it's not. I think neither of us are arguing that that's a bad thing. But the thing that I'm arguing for, and the thing that you're arguing for, is that this organization shouldn't settle for being just good. They should be great. We shouldn't be like, oh, I wish they were like the Braves. Other teams should be like, oh, I wish like that we were like the Yankees. The Braves, it should be the inverse, right? The Braves should be like, man, wish we were like the Yankees, dude. Wish we were like the Yankees. I don't understand why am I sitting here like, man, I wish we were like the Astros. I wish we were like the Dodgers. I wish we were like the Braves. I wish we ran our team in terms of like efficiency with payroll and player development like the Rays. They're in our division. Why are the Rays and Orioles better organizations than we are? Why do they find talent at a better clip than we do? Why is it that the Cubs signed Cody Bellinger? They turn his career around. Why is it that when we sign guys and we acquire guys, they don't get better when they get over here? Why is it that it's only on the pitching side of the ball? Matt Blake and Sam Breen, I want to shout these two guys out because they're the only two things that hold this organization together. These are the only two guys that like you look at and you're like, man, these two are at the cutting edge of innovation and analytics for the organization. These two guys understand what modern baseball looks like and what this team should play like. They've kept this team together, dude. Dylan Lawson, man, like, what's the approach at the plate, dude? Like, what's going on with these guys, right? And you know what? I'm not even going to go too hard on Dylan Lawson. I think we initially theorized it was coaching, but man, like, what can he do with Josh Johnson? Josh Johnson sucks. Like, that's on Josh Johnson, right? LeMahieu stinks. I think that's just on LeMahieu at this point. I don't even know what to say. Stan can't hit velocities. He's just getting old, right? We're talking about these three players, guys. These guys are like 33, 34, 35. Donaldson's 37. Rizzo's getting a little bit older too. Like, old guys getting hurt a lot and then regressing. Like, is that the most surprising thing in the world? LeMahieu has 2 season-ending injuries in back-to-back years, and now he's not the player he used to be. I don't think that's too, like, I don't think that the Yankees factored enough how important it is to have a young team. Again, like, what I don't really know. I don't really know what the fix is here. I don't, because it's like, okay, buy at the deadline. Well, every time you buy at the deadline, you've never like acquired a player that's actually been a championship difference maker for you. And I'm not saying you quantify championship difference makers by just championships, but damn it, you traded for Gallo and he didn't work out here. How does that happen? You traded for Montas, he didn't work out here. He shoulder stuff, right? You acquired Benintendi. I know he blows out his hand, and that's not predictable. But even Rizzo, when you first acquired him, he wasn't that good that year. Like, he had like a 112 WRC plus, which is not that much better than league average first baseman. Why can't we acquire difference makers? Like, why can't we acquire? Where's the guy we acquired that like just jolts this lineup? Are you excited to acquire anyone? Like, I feel like I have like Stockholm syndrome with this stuff. I don't want to get excited for like, okay, the Yankees are going to acquire this guy because like, they're gonna get worse. That's what always happens. They just get worse here, right? And people can say, well, it's just bad luck. It's bad luck. But is it bad luck when it happens every time? You know what I'm saying? Is it bad luck when the Yankees are second class to another organization every time? Is it bad luck when the Rays win the division 3 out of 4 times? That doesn't seem like bad luck. That just seems like they're not doing something right. At some point, they have to change their process, dude. Cashman, I just call up some dude. Cut Donaldson. Why is he here? Just do it. It's no one in the fan base, no one in the organization is gonna be like, wow, we really missed out here. The guy hits the ball hard and he's 37. Man, if we just held on for a little bit longer, right? I hope I'm wrong. I hope like Donaldson has the greatest month of July I've ever seen, but that feels like a 1 or 2% chance of happening, dude. Like, it's just I can't wrap my head around what they're thinking. How far is their head up their own ass? They can't see what's on the field, right? We watch this team every day. It's not even like an eyeball test thing. This is an analytics thing. This is a data thing. The analytics and data hate this team. This team isn't good. Like, I don't know what else to say, man. This team is not very good. I can't put it any other way. Without Aaron Judge, this team stinks. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's kind of the right way to say it is analytically and the eye test both confirm this team blows chunks. And like, that's the reality. And by the way, if you're listening to this now, we're recording this right before the game and Gleyber Torres just twisted his right ankle. So we'll see how that goes. Not ideal, losing one of our best offensive pieces, as I just kind of said before. So the Yankees right now, guys, pretty shitty. And, the truth is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's what the Yankees do. But I hope you enjoyed this rant. I'd love to hear your perspectives below in the YouTube comments. As always, my friends, make sure to like and subscribe for the continued content production around this Yankee team. Hopefully better days are ahead. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.